kind of the top three you dreamed of back in August, putting in there Tatis, Soto, Machado?
There were a lot of them. So there's a good chance, that came up when I was scribbling some notes in the off season.
This is something that you've waited for, though. I know it's spring training, but you got to geek out on something. Tatis atop the lineup.
I'm very aware of that. Yeah.
Tatis atop of the lineup. I mean, this is one that maybe could have happened a few months ago, back last season.
No, Toddy and I were talking about, his first game over there, how I finally get to see him play for me. It's been a while, and he's such a infectious guy. And was born to be on a baseball field, and that's where he's most comfortable. And so to be able to, go a period of time without him there felt really good. And then obviously having him in there with Manny and Juan as well today is, they're certain things that get you excited during the course of spring training. Feels like the same day every day, but this is one of them.
We saw him as an outfielder back in 2021, but that was kind of like an in-season transition.
Right.
What do you make of kind of what he can be as a right fielder, given the tools that he has?
He can be anything he wants to be. He can probably play any position on the field. So he's been working hard at right field. We talked about, what might transpire come spring training, and we really haven't even had that talk since we've been here. He just runs out to right field. So it's making it easier on me too.
The specifics of those tools for right field, like the arm and the range and kind of his ability to do the spectacular, how do you see that playing out for him?
You pretty much summed it up right there. And, I know center field, something he's talked about, and it might be a little easier as far as reads go. Might be a little bit more going on because it's center of the diamond. But for right now, his tools play really well in right field, especially his throwing arm. That's the outfield position that seems like it gets the most chances, guys going first to third or second to home, and I know he's eager about showing his arm off.
They referred to him as the spark in the clubhouse, when he was playing. I know you heard that last year, but are you starting to see that? Like, how does that show up a little bit in terms of just who he is when he's...
He's made to play baseball, and like I said, he's happiest, it feels like, when he's on the baseball field. So I saw it from the other side, what he meant to a team and how you look at him. Talent-wise, generational talent. So you see that right away from the other side. You really get to know more about it when you're on the same team as him.
Odor's at second today. Where else might he play this spring?
Second for now. We'll get him comfortable. I think he's played a little third, maybe. But he just showed up to camp. He's been getting some at-bats and working out, but I want him to be comfortable his first a few games playing the position that he's most used to playing.
Pitching-wise, is there anything different today because of the rain out yesterday, or those lost 2 innings?
No, I think we needed to get the guys we really needed to get in the game got in the game yesterday, so I was fine with it ending after 7 innings yesterday.
When you look at a guy like Nelson Cruz or any guy that's just had longevity in the league, heck, even a Craig Stammen or how Bogarts and Machado want to be, they pay out their contracts. What are there any traits that stand out to you about a guy like that can sustain that kind of longevity and at a high level?
Well, I think the DH spot has worked out well, and that's not an easy job to acclimate to. Obviously he has, last several years, but a little bit like Toddy, and this is a guy that's just born to play baseball, and a little different. His personality would be, especially at this point in time in his career, one that commands a lot of respect, and they just didn't give him that GM job for no reason. They gave him that job because he's job to get as many high-profile players there, and I'm sure he had a lot to do with what their roster looks like. But then again, he's a resource for players. He's a resource for me. He embraces that. Some guys don't. That's just kind of who he is. So I think all those things combined, and he's pretty good at what he does at the plate, would suggest he's playing as long as he has.
Well, usually middle of March, things start to come into a clearer picture with the WBC guys going to be away. Does that get pushed back a little bit in terms of the few question marks you got?
Yeah, it does some. Now we'll see some of our younger players get to play. A guy like Merrill's going to get a lot of reps and so forth, but we do want to get our guys together the last week or whatever it is. I'm not pulling for anybody to lose early on so we can get everybody back here, because I'm looking forward to watching the WBC as well. But when you have guys, especially in the middle of the diamond, that haven't played together, it's important to team them up.
Gonna be up at 2 a.m. watching those Japan Darvish starts.
I usually go to bed around 7, so I might wake up at 2 a.m. and it might still get 6 hours of sleep or whatever. But probably more record it.
When you have a clubhouse full of superstars like you have now, are there any differences with how you manage or how you might have to approach a clubhouse or watch a clubhouse throughout the season?
That's a good question. I was new to that last year, so I think being a second year, a little bit more understanding how to deal with star players. I've had star players in the past, not this many on the same team, but it'd be one thing if there wasn't leadership in our clubhouse and we have it all over the place. So it's more kind of feel out, let the guys get comfortable who are new here, and then kind of navigate it how you think as you go along.